know, it doesn't seem to matter how many lights I have on, I can never get the lighting right. Hey guys, so as you can see, I am in a bit of a different location, sitting down, and yes, I do have legs. The reason being is that I'm going to be doing something a little more DIY based really, and my room is too tiny to just sort of add that in. Like many trans guys out there, I own a realistic packer, a Mr. Limpy to be precise, and I'm pretty sure there are a lot of you out there who have encountered the same problem when using it, is that if you try and just put it in your pants by itself and you're either doing something, a strenuous activity or something, and it suddenly starts to migrate, or you go to the bathroom and when you go to the loo it drops out into the toilet, or even worse, rolls onto the cubicle next door and you have a very awkward moment. Luckily, I only heard about these experiences and haven't experienced them myself, so I decided to cover myself and make myself a harness, which I made by following some instructions on YouTube. However, the one I've made doesn't really work that well. It's been breaking a lot and it doesn't make me feel as secure as I was hoping it to be. So today I have decided to try, and honestly I'm going to be making something a little bit experimental here. I'm going to be trying to make my own spin on the harness to make it more secure. Right, so first things first, you're going to need 2 pairs of boxes. They are clean, they are actually brand new, so don't worry. As you said, this one is actually a bit bigger than what I would usually wear. This is the size up, and the reason I'm doing this is because it's not going to be really sitting on your waist, it's going to be sitting more on your hips. And one of the few downsides of being a trans guy is the fact that sometimes your hips are a bit bigger, so it's best to get something that's a little bit baggier. It's better to have something baggy that you can adjust instead of having something too tight that digs in and causes you a lot of discomfort. The second pair is just normal sized. Secondly, what you're going to need are, well, you're going to need one O-ring, which looks a little bit like that. Yes, I know this one is small. You can get these pretty cheaply. I got 4 for like 80 odd pence on Amazon, so I don't know how much that translates to in dollars, but ridiculously cheap. As you can see, yeah, this one is kind of small, but it has some sort of flexibility, and I was looking for that more than anything. It's better to have something that is small and has a bit of give to it, rather than something that is going to be rock solid and might end up kind of cracking or something like that. Thirdly, you're going to need lots of sewing, well, equipment really, so this is going to be a lot of sewing. Luckily I used to sew a lot as a kid, so this isn't going to be a problem for me, but for those of you who don't sew very well, I'm going to try and explain exactly the kind of stuff I'm doing. Right, now the first step is to cut the boxes up so that you only have the band, both of them. This one is going to remain intact, this one's going to stay without being cut. This one is going to be the secondary strap. Right, now what you're going to do is you're going to find the seam on the smaller pair and you're going to cut along it, like so. Cutting along where it's been stitched on makes it less likely to fray. Step 3, you're going to want to get your secondary strap and you're going to want to sew this bit onto here, but on the inside. So you're going to sew it like there, and I'm going to show you how to do this. Firstly, I know you need to kind of pin it in so it doesn't move anywhere. This is going to be the fun part because although I love sewing, threading the needle, a bit of a pain. You're going to make sure you've got a nice long bit of thread. It's better to have too much thread than not enough. then you've just got to make sure you tie knot at the bottom. Now I know I'm probably being a bit basic here when it comes to directions, but I know that there are some people out there who don't sew and don't know how to, so I'm doing this just to make sure that anyone, including people who are clueless when it comes to sewing, can actually do this. I hate having short nails. That's the only downside of having short nails. You can't do it. There we go. So I pin this on. So what I'm going to do, start at the bottom here. Then you're going to sew up here, along here, and down. And it's going to be just your basic sewing technique. You just kind of pull it in one side, push it out the other. Kind of simple, really. So now, as you can see, I have stitched it on there. So what we have now is, a T shape of fabric. Now the next step, you're going to have to measure this against yourself, because obviously everyone has different shapes and preferences. So you're going to put this around your waist. Obviously I'm not going to do it because it would involve taking off my pants, and that's one thing I will not be doing on the internet. But I will tell you what I am going to do, and that is I pop this on my waist and then kind of adjust this down and then sort of measure out how far down I want, well, my package to be. So what you're going to do is get your O-ring, and then you're going to sort of place it where you kind of want it to be. Then what you have to do is you have to mark sort of halfway in the O-ring where you're going to cut, because obviously you're going to need a bit here to kind of peel back, sort of overlap. As you can see, I have basically cut it down to what looks kind of a pathetic amount. Then what I am going to do is pop my O-ring there and fold it over like so, and then what I'm going to do is sew along here. Make sure you sew really, really tightly, because obviously you've cut along some fabric and you don't really want that fraying. So we get the needle again and the thread. This doesn't have to look pretty, I'm tempted to make it look nice, but when it comes down to it, this is going to be in your pants, and the only person who really needs to see it is you, really. This is obviously a DIY job, so you can't expect it to look amazing. Fold it over, make sure it is level, and then just start sewing, just back and forth across it, as tight a stitch you can, because you don't really want it coming undone. So I've had that before in my previous packer harness. The stitching came undone when I was in the middle of kind of dancing around and being very energetic, and it felt very uncomfortable, and I had to leave quite promptly and sort it out. Luckily there was some duct tape and some scissors to hand, because otherwise I would have been screwed, basically. Do the stitches along one way and then come back a similar place, just to kind of strengthen up the stitching. So now you have this bit here. So what you're going to do now is you're going to get the remnants of the other part of the band, and you're going to do exactly the same here. You're just going to pop this in like this and stitch that down. Okay, you can see this part is now done, so that is all nice and secure. That's not really going to go anywhere. Now what you could do, what sort of a popular style I've seen, is that you kind of just measure it out, and then you have it sort of, well, like this, I guess, where the strap kind of goes underneath and comes up the other side, and that's all fine. But I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to be adjusting it to make it look different, because I don't know about you, but I don't really want anything thong-like being worn underneath. It feels kind of uncomfortable. So I'm going to be making it into a sort of, I think what people refer to it as some sort of a jock strap sort of thing. So what you're going to do is you're going to measure it, put this on yourself, measure it out, and then measure this back, and then figure out where you want this bit to split. So what you're going to do, you're going to cut down the middle and then split these two bits off to the sides, and then they're going to attach, like I said, like a jock strap. sort of design. So I'll show you what that looks like in a second. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but I have marked out where I want the sort of the solid band of elastic to stop. So now what you're going to do, let's get your scissors, and you're going to cut down to that point where you have marked out. Now the best thing, try and make it as sort of level as possible, that way it stops it from fraying. Now you've cut it into two, you're going to have to try and measure it out again on yourself. And then what you're going to do afterwards, you're going to measure it out, you're going to do what you did before, except this time you're going to figure out, you're going to have to do this blind basically, is try and figure out where these straps will be to make it comfortable for you. You're going to have to mark it on this strap here, where you're going to sort of sew them on. I have now marked both on the strap here, if you can see, and on the band, exactly where they're going to line up. As you can see already, this, because I've cut through the fabric, it is starting to fray. So before you can do any sort of attaching, it's best to kind of trim off the bits that are fraying a little bit. Don't pull on them because it will make it worse. Just trim them off. Make sure that they don't fray anymore. Now what you're going to do, to stop this from fraying any further, you are going to do some more sewing. It's going to be a different type of sewing to what I was doing before. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the needle in one side, bring it around, and put it exactly back on the same side. You're going to keep doing that the whole way around. And the reason this helps is because it stops any fraying occurring, because you're going to want this packer harness to last you for a very long time. You don't want it sort of falling apart after like a few days. These things, you know, you can make them yourself, but it is a bit of a pain to make. So you're going to want to have your hard work sort of last, so to speak. Okay, so finally I have stitched these bits together. It took a very long time. I decided not to film it because, you know, it takes too long, but just so you know I've cut a lot of the time out, but that took a very long time to do, so it's something you've got to make sure that you have time for. Now what you're going to do is you're going to get your strap, and you've got the markings there, and you're going to match up the markings there with the ones on the little straps, like so. And if you can, what's best to do is to get a pin and pin it in place. Don't stab yourself in the finger, just like I did. So you're going to just do this with both of them. So pin it in. Then what you're going to do is you're just going to stitch it in. And I'll show you this last bit. It's not going to take too long. All you're going to do is stitch up here and down here and here, in a sort of a square sort of shape, just to make sure that it stays there, because obviously, you know, it's elastic and it's going to get stretched. Right, so what you're going to do, like I said, just sew it on, press them tightly, back to the traditional sort of stitches, by the way, not any more of the reverse sort of stitches. This probably shouldn't take long, it should probably take about 5 minutes. Right, now after all that, harness is finally done, and I'm actually quite pleased with it. It looks good, actually. I think now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it on, because otherwise there's not much point in me putting this video up there if it doesn't work. Well, I'm not going to show me wearing it, but I am currently wearing it. It works, it's really sturdy. Only thing I would say is it's best to get a bigger O-ring than this. I can't remember the size of it, but if you can get something that is similar girth to your packer. This one was about 10 millimeters smaller than the girth of my packer. It's best to get one that matches it. I thought this one would stretch a bit more, but at the moment it's kind of constricting a little bit. It does feel a little odd at the moment, but I would definitely say that this is something you should try. Just make sure that you buy an O-ring that matches the girth of your packer, and then you're all set. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I hope that some of you will take my advice with this, and hopefully it'll help a lot of you out. I'll see you in the next video then, guys, so bye!